Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for stopping by for another buyback rummage video today. Gonna go through this Stars and Hall of Famers box like we usually do for about 10 minutes. I have a ton of other content that I'm trying to get to here on the channel. Some more well thought out and organized videos. A wonderful card that I got from my buddy Dylan over at Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. Some more Negro League posts and other things along those lines. But for today, it's been really busy. It's been a few days since I've had any time to record or get a video up. So we're just going to stick with a simple buyback rummage to carry us through the weekend here. And we start with a great 1960 Topps Jim Piersall. Of course, better remembered, with, at least in my mind, with the Boston Red Sox, but a great Cleveland Indians card here. This one is well worn. I don't know if you can tell, but there's like some creases or folds kind of going right through the middle of the card. Bottom's pretty rough, but yeah, Topps did not discriminate when they collected these cards and bought them back to be reissued. Condition was not really something that was on their mind. And I kind of jumped ahead, but before we get into the rest of the rummage, today's buyback video is sponsored by a couple of new buybacks. I did show this Nolan Ryan in a previous video, but in case you missed it, this is the sweepstakes card from 1990 Bowman in buyback format from the 70th anniversary Bowman buyback campaign that Topps ran back in 2017, I think it was, actually. 2017 Bowman, so great card there. And then here's another one of these. I was able to pick up these great framed mini buybacks from 2015, Allen Ginter. Got this wonderful Bob Gibson. Originally, this was a 2012 Allen Ginter mini. It was bought back, stamped, put in this wonderful frame, and then reissued, as you can see on the bottom there, in 2015 Allen Ginter. So I showed a few big names recently as far as those framed buybacks go, and I'm just kind of on the lookout for any other Hall of Famers and stars that I can add. Here's a really cool one, keeping it rolling here. Bob Turley on the first ever All-Star subset from 1958 Topps. These represent the end of the checklist in 58 Topps. And again, first year that Topps did All-Star subset cards in the flagship release. The American League players like Bob Turley here, Bullet Bob, got the red background, and then the National League players got a blue background. These are exceedingly difficult to find in buyback format. I have the Ernie Banks from the NL side of the house that is in the buyback Franken set. And from the AL side of the house today, we pull Bob Turley, really successful pitcher for the Yankees throughout the 50s and into the 60s. So a couple of awesome cards to get us started. Here's a cool one. Ken Caminiti. Shout out to my Astros pals like Dan over at Old Sarge Collects or Brent at Brent Richards and Baseball Cards. I know those guys will enjoy this one. A 1988 Ken Caminiti specifically from the 2016 65th anniversary buyback program. So a cool one here. I love, like many people, I've heard others say this as well. I didn't really appreciate 1988 Topps when I was a kid the first time around, but the design has really grown on me, and I'm quite fond of it as an adult collector here. Here's a cool one. During my lifetime anyway, as a Red Sox fan, this guy is my personal favorite manager that the club has ever had. Terry Francona, of course, went on to have a great career with the Indians or Guardians in their management as well, but Francona's the guy. He brought the World Series to Boston after the long drought. Always appreciated his personality and his approach, and found this Rediscover Topps buyback of his 2006 Topps issue. Here's a look at the back, card number 595. I love that back in this day that Topps would include the manager cards in the flagship set. Wish they would do that nowadays, but they got to make room for, you know, that 10th reliever or rookie who played one game last year in the majors. So managers are kind of a casualty. Here's a really cool one. Shout out to my buddy Hugo at Signs of the Pastime. I guess this is a buyback shout out day today. But we have member of the Black Aces, Dave Stewart. And I know Hugo is in particular a fan of this card, which I am as well, just because of the great image. I mean, look at that. That really gives you a sense of what it was like to step into the box against Dave Stewart and face his stuff. Looks terrifying to me. And just another example of 1991 Topps done right. They really stepped up their photography game. in 1991. And also like the team color match and the design, just really, really gorgeous Dave Stewart card there. So not really Hall of Famers coming out of the box, but definitely significant buybacks nonetheless. And right as I say that, we break up the streak and we do get a Hall of Famer, catcher Joe Torre, although he's in as much for his managerial career, I think, as his playing career, but very, very effective player as well. This is a 2016 Topps Heritage buyback. You can see here the 16 in the lower right of the stamp, and then 67, which was the set from 50 years prior, which is what this card was in initially. 1967 Topps, Joe Torre. Great Braves uniform there. Love that. Let's take a look at the back, because of course we had cartoons in this era. So nice Joe Torre at number 350. We'll see if that makes the Franken set. If not, this will certainly go into my Topps Heritage side project that I have going on for buybacks. So that's our first Hall of Famer that we pulled today, but we have another back-to-back. How about Goose Gossage, shown here as Rich. They did not go with Goose in 1977, but a really strange White Sox uniform there. I do not remember. I mean, this predates my birth anyway, but I have no recollection of those White Sox caps. That is really interesting with the navy blue brim and navy blue socks on the cap. So strange one there. Not my favorite card. 1977 Topps, actually not my favorite set design either. But still, I mean, a Hall of Fame buyback card. That one will legitimately have a shot at Franken set induction. Here is an awesome one. Mark Fidrich, 1981 Topps. The Bird. Just a wonderful personality. I'm sure if you're watching this video, odds are you're aware of Mark Fidrich and how he kind of splashed upon the baseball scene in the 70s, became somewhat of a celebrity in the game. Unfortunately, met a tragic end later in his life after retiring in an accident on his farm. But one of the great personalities in baseball's past. Next up, we're rapid firing here. We got a 68 George Scott on that great burlap design. I've probably said it before because I've pulled his buybacks and other rummages, and I have some of his other cards as well, but he seems to be one of those players who like never got a bad looking card or just has a ton of good looking cardboard. I love this swing here. Looks like we got a little bit of a stain here. If you can see that in the top, it looks like someone spilled a cup of coffee on the top of that card, but really awesome George Scott. And of course, this was issued coming off the 1967 Impossible Dream season, which is pretty cool. And in fact, the cartoon on the back references Jim Longborg's one-hitter in the 67 World Series. So cool George Scott card there for a Red Sox fan especially. Got a couple more minutes here, so let's keep it going. And happy to see this one come out of the box. My latest Seattle Pilots buyback, pitcher Bob Locker. And I've been on kind of a run of pulling these in these rummages, but just really a fan of any Pilots cards. And these buybacks represent kind of a unique, more challenging way to collect those two Pilots team sets, being in 1969 and 1970 Topps. I'll never get them all in buyback format. I'm not even convinced they all exist in buyback format, but happy to add another one anyway in today's rummage. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous Pilots card there. I think that's Yankee Stadium in the background as well. Old Yankee Stadium. And how about this back-to-back 1970 Pilots? In this case, Don Mincher with that awkward like spring training mountain in the background there. Not much I can say. I mean, I just mentioned it with the Bob Locker, but again, any Pilots card I can get my hands on in this format, I'm going to scoop it up if it's cheap, and especially these Heritage buybacks. So really, really happy with that one. Some good variety coming out of the mini box. And we're going to end on this one today because this is a beast. The Warren Giles Heritage buyback from, I believe this was the 1959 Topps release. Card number 200, President of the National League. A very, very notable 50s baseball card, just something that you don't see every day. And finding this in buyback format, I remember finding this on ComC. I think it was like $3 or $4. This was years ago, and I just had to snatch it up immediately, just because of the unique factor, I guess. Just not a card that you see talked about all that often, and certainly one that I've not seen available in buyback format all that often either. So we'll finish off today with Warren Giles, few Hall of Famers, some other very notable players and managers, and even a league president. So some great variety today. Certainly appreciate you stopping by. Hope to have more time in the coming week to get to some of those other videos that I mentioned at the outset. But in the meantime, I appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying the hobby. Take care.